Hey guys, Ryan Steinelson here with Accelerate Marketing, and today I'm going to talk to you about common mistakes that business owners make when they actually set up their LSA. And I want you guys to get this. So Google Screened, Google Guaranteed, local service ads, as you guys know, they're all the same thing. The biggest mistakes that I see business owners make is that they don't expand out their service area as much as they possibly can. This can be a really big issue because if you don't expand your service areas, then you're just basically just not covering all the areas that you can. And a lot of business owners, I'm surprised when I see this, they just don't actually identify all the areas that they can take business in. So that's number one. Number two is a lot of times I see business owners in their LSA back office. When they log into their account, you can see that they don't match up their business hours with the actual hours that the ads are running. Or they don't run their ads 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's a really common mistake. And I'm always surprised at how few owners actually don't run their ads 24/7. And I've talked in many past videos about how you can actually set up call service and have them answer your calls when your intake team cannot. So that's the second biggest and most common mistake that I see outside of the service areas, basically not being large enough to cover all of the business that they can actually take. The other thing that I see is that the business owners don't accept or identify enough job types that they can actually take in their category. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're actually accepting all of the job types that you can possibly take. We do actually work with verticals outside of the attorney vertical. Businesses outside of personal injury and just attorneys in general, yes, we do. And I do see a lot of businesses not turning on all of the job types in the back office that they can possibly take. And what this leads to is a significantly decreased volume of calls. If you actually have somebody search, for example, for the generic phrase personal injury attorney near me, Google is not going to show your local service ad if you do not select a lot of the job types. And here's the reason why. Because they assume that you don't take a lot of the job types that somebody would type in or that somebody would be looking for if they just typed into Google personal injury attorney near me, which is a very generic search phrase. So Google is going to show the attorneys that actually take more job types for that type of a generic search. So you can get more calls by just saying that you actually take more job types for searches that are more generic. The other thing that I see is that business owners typically do not change their budget or alter their budget in order to see what will happen. Now, I'm not saying put the budget at $1 million a week, which by the way, I see that done a lot. A lot of business owners just are not getting the number of leads that they want to get. And so therefore what they'll do is they'll actually set the budget to an astronomical number like $1 million a week, expecting that Google will give them more leads. Well, Google won't do that. And actually, I've created another video about the fact that Google sometimes even will penalize you for creating a budget that's not realistic. You definitely want to look at your budget and you want to set it as high as you can to get as many leads as you possibly can. Because I can guarantee you that there's not another ad unit that you can run that's going to generate leads at the cost per lead or the quality of leads that you're going to get from showing up at the top of Google with your reputation, like Google Screened or Google Guaranteed will do for you. And I also see a lot of business owners set the bidding as too low of a number. So if they're setting their lead or their bidding mode as max bid and they bid too low, then they're just not going to get the number of leads that they want to get. And I would recommend that you actually try out the max leads versus max bid. See whether or not you can actually get more leads by going back and forth between those two options, because sometimes you can get more leads from one versus the other. The final one that I'm going to give you is a lot of clients do not take advantage of the booking feature and or the message feature. And if they are taking advantage of those features, they're not responding to the messages in a rapid amount of time. There is a new feature that Google LSA, or Google Local Service Ads, has started where they actually will show the response time for messages, the average response time for the company right in the ad itself. So that's a prelude to things to come from Google, where Google will identify how quickly you actually respond in order to reward you for actually answering the phone quickly, or answering or responding to your messages quickly. And that really brings me to the biggest, which is the response time for phone calls. Everybody thinks that they answer the phone all the time, and every single time, and every time that we do an audit for our prospective clients for their LSA, we see that they absolutely do not answer their phone to the extent that they think that they do. The reason why we're able to actually see how responsive they are to the phone calls is because in our MCC, or Master Client Account, when we pull your account in, we can actually see the number of calls, and it shows the calls connected. The main thing that we want to look at is the calls versus the calls connected. And if that ratio is less than 90% of calls to calls connected, then you need to improve your calls connected. So that's really important. I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you have any questions, please text me directly at 619-304-5155. Again, that's 619-304-5155.